This is Cats at Night.
Great American, a great New Yorker.
Now, here's John Katzimatidis.
On the line for us right now is Kimberly Guilfoyle. She's a political analyst, and she speaks her mind, and I can call you a MAGA supporter and not offend you, right, Kimberly?
Absolutely. How are you?
We're doing well. So what's your pulse on what's going on in the country?
Well, I have to tell you, people are very upset, and you really hit the nail on the head, because if President Trump, actually a true-born leader and someone with business pragmatism, was in office, we wouldn't be dealing with this. I cannot tell you the number of mothers and people that are calling me so upset about what's going on with it. Can you imagine in the United States of America, the greatest country on earth, that we are having a problem with baby formula, that there are mothers that can't get baby formula? Sure, if you're someone of means, of economic wherewithal, you can probably figure out a way to be able to get baby formula. But how about all of those families out there that love their children, love their babies, and are worried and stressed out about this? But you have a complete absence, a complete vacuum of leadership in the White House with Joe Biden right now. You see it, whether it's baby formula, whether it's gasoline prices, all of the above.
He has no clue, Kimberly. He has no clue what's going on.
Yeah, people get elections have consequences, and now we have someone, Joe Biden, in the White House who is completely failing the country, failing the middle class. You see rising inflation, interest rates, lack of baby formula, skyrocketing prices for gasoline. Like, it's awful. John, you know this.
Well, I also verified to Bloomberg News before and Fox Business that there's going to be a shortage, could be a shortage of diesel fuel.
Well,
and
it's now $7 in Queens.
Is it $7
Yeah,
in Queens?
$6.99.
Diesel fuel.
And that impacts trucking.
Yeah, and some of the oil refiners have verified that it could happen.
John, I know you lost your voice over this, but I got to ask you again, what is the solution? Biden just simply blames Putin and Trump and COVID and you name it and everything in between. But what is the solution to combat the inflation and to get that supply chain going?
Open up North America for oil. We got 100 years worth of oil. Open up North America, and we'll solve the problem in 90 to 120 days.
Kimberly, what would Trump do? What do you think should be done?
Yeah, I think he's 1,000% correct. I mean, John Katz is one of the greatest American businessmen and entrepreneurs. He gets it. This is why smart people, President Trump, always sought his counsel to discuss the issues and to understand what's going on. And sadly, all the accomplishments, the infrastructure, the manufacturing, the leaps and bounds in the economy that President Trump was able to accomplish, Joe Biden is erasing. He's got a magic eraser to American economic success, and he has actually dissolved so many of the accomplishments that we've been able to make. And I'll tell you something, we need someone who's a true leader back in the White House. We need someone who is actually tapping the pulse of American business and economy to understand what to do, to create jobs, to get inflation back down, to lower unemployment like President Trump did. This is just unacceptable. And there really has been just a complete stranglehold on oil, North American oil. If we could do this, we can actually solve so many of these problems. How can people get back to work and actually get to their job if they can't afford the price at the pump?
Now, the Washington Post published a story today that says that George Washington University is trying to change the name of the university.
Should change their name, right?
How about the Washington Post?
Insane.
That's right.
It's insane.
What are we going to call the Washington Post?
What are we going to call you, Rudy?
I'll be out there with my picket sign.
That's Rudy Washington. Kimberly, what do you think about this whole woke culture that seems to be gripping the nation?
To quote a great man, woke is broke. I mean, it's so stupid. I can't abide by these people. They're just like, they're an episode of Dumb and Dumber. Honestly, they don't have a clue on anything. They think that they can actually just try to change history, choke out the economy, cancel people, do all of this. And to what end? To what we're seeing right now with Joe Biden. That's why there's such a tremendous backlash. And that's why President Trump, by the way, and all of his endorsed candidates that he's backed are doing incredibly well across the country, because people are tired of it. Make no mistake, there's going to be a red wave, a reckoning across this country, because people are sick of it. They're sick of people trying to indoctrinate their children. They're sick of them trying to tell them to apologize for everything, for wanting to earn a good day's living and provide for their family. They're sick of them telling them how they should educate their children. They're sick of them telling them they can't go to church, they can't worship God, they can't decide what they want to do with their own hard-earned money.
And I understand President Trump is, 56-1? Is 56 wins, one era?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a close race, but this is the point. People actually understand what's going on. They're waking up, and I'm going to tell you something. We're going to take back the Congress. We're going to own the Senate, all of the above. And in 2024, make no mistake about it, we will occupy the Oval. That is happening because people want actual strong leadership. They're tired of it. Now, people say, well, look what happened now with Biden, so now we've learned a lesson. Well, shame on us as a country that we had to go through this buffoon to be able to learn a lesson that was so obvious.
Well, it was the biggest con game.
Now we know.
It was the biggest con game on the American people.
Con game.
And they hid.
Rigged election.
No, I don't know, whatever it is, but they hid Joe Biden in the basement so nobody could realize that he didn't know what he's talking about.
And then Zuckerberg poured millions and millions into it.
The grass was greener on the other side. So be it. It was not.
400 million.
Kimberly, what was your reaction to hearing President Biden saying that MAGA is the most extreme political organization?
Another episode of Weekend at Biden's. I mean, honestly, has anyone checked this guy's pulse yet? He has no idea what he is doing and what he is saying. He is trying to demonize hard-working Americans, the hard-working men and women that were left behind by, quite frankly, every party till Donald Trump came on board. But as you see, and I traveled the president across the country, we sell out everywhere. We have massive crowds. I'll be with him in Austin, Texas, along with Don.
The president had 30,000 people watching him. The president had 30,000 people watching him, and Joe Biden had a reception, and he had 12 people, and 8 of them were staff.
Kimberly, this is Rudy Washington.
I call it the dipshit dozen. That's how many Biden had watching him.
Kimberly, this is Rudy Washington. I miss you on the 5.
You're the cutest. I love my John Cass.
But I want to ask you a question.
Well, it's 5 o'clock now.
Why is our press covering for this person? Why? I mean, it's just so obvious. I scratch my head.
I don't know. I think they were so in the bag for him. They're so
but why?
apologetic.
Why? It's destroying the country.
They are, but I don't know. They care more about just their woke policies, their liberal, communist policies, to be able to push forward in this country instead of actually what's good for the country. And now, because they were so in the bag, with the fake news and the fake investigations against Trump, they're trying to cover for this guy. But shame on them.
Yes.
Because they're now reaping what they sowed. So, I mean, the only way out of this is the election. The election's coming forward now, taking back the House and the Senate, and taking back the White House. It's enough already.
Kimberly, we got 1 minute left.
About Democrat, Republican, about common sense, about being an American who actually cares about earning a living and being able to provide for your family and doing the right thing by the country and for future generations. The American dream should be bipartisan. It should be everyone jumping in, and everyone should stand for full and fair, free elections. A legal vote, cast and counted. That's what everyone should care about. No one wins.
Kimberly, we have 1 minute left. What else you want to tell the American people?
I told them that I love them, and let me tell you something. Hold on, we're coming.
The cavalry is coming.
Wait, that's not Cudlow's, Kimberly. That's Cudlow's song.
She said they're coming. The cavalry. It's bipartisan cavalry. Thank you so much, Kimberly. We love your fire.
I love it. All right. Bye.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. We love you, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
We see you soon, my friend.
And
now we'll talk to Nelson. Do you want to?
Let's talk to Nelson.
Yay.
Nelson, Happy, you're a pilot. You were president of Mooney Aviation. Now, there was a big incident today. Tell us about it.
Well, it's an exciting story. It's right up there with landing an airliner in the Hudson River.
Right, very Captain Sully.
Yeah, it's a page from his book. And what actually happened was that a young couple in their 20s were riding in a Cessna aircraft, small 182, small airplane.
Cessna, yep.
And they were near Boca Raton in Florida when, according to the passenger, the pilot became, quote, incoherent.
And there's actual audio of it. Let's play a little clip of it so you can hear. And air traffic control had to actually guide this person who never flew a plane before how to land the Cessna 182. Take a listen.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot gone incoherent. I have no idea how to fly the airplane.
Roger, what's your position?
I have no idea. I can see the coast of Florida in front of me, and I have no idea.
Maintain wings level and just try to follow the coast, either north or southbound. We're trying to locate you.
Can you believe that? And he landed the plane.
It's amazing. He, after that part of the recording, the air traffic controllers in Boca directed him to go to Palm Beach International Airport. He had no idea what direction he was going. They just said, follow the coast.
Oh, my God.
And you can imagine what that pilot was, or what that passenger was feeling with his pregnant wife in the plane. They never had flown before, but the air traffic controller directed him toward Palm Beach. When he got to Palm Beach, they shifted over to the ground controller in Palm Beach, who was a flight instructor. And he said, change the frequency on your radio. That
way they can locate him on the radar.
They had a real problem because they couldn't find him on the radar. Well, they finally did find him. He couldn't use the transponder. They tried to have him.
Nelson, how difficult is it to do something like that? Somebody like me that has no experience whatsoever.
I think it's extremely difficult. It's partly if you have the emotional ability to stay calm and listen to somebody on the radio who gives you instruction, then you have a lot better chance than most of us would just freak out. But this young man didn't freak out. He listened, and he was fortunate that the ground controller was a flight instructor. And he went to his computer, found a picture of the flight controls on this particular Cessna.
Oh, my God.
And then was able to direct him what to do. And I've watched the video of the airplane landing, and it is almost a perfect landing.
When you can't explain something, you know what it is? It's God.
Well, I think there was, that element must have been there, because another factor, God created some pretty good weather for him. It was daylight, weren't any winds, so he didn't have to contend with weather issues.
And he came down safe, so his pregnant wife's safe, he's safe. They ever find out what happened to the pilot?
The only thing that the FAA will say is that one of the passengers, which apparently is the pilot, was taken to the hospital. But the FAA...
we'll find out. We'll get an update.
They haven't...
Now, Nelson, me and you were in a jet.
Oh, yeah, when you were flying.
I was flying the plane left seat, and we were at 35,000 feet over the Rocky Mountains, and we lost the right engine.
Oh, my God.
That was pretty terrifying.
And in that jet, you're supposed to be able to be above 20,000 feet, but the mountains were at 26, 27, the Rocky Mountains.
And there's no place to land with the mountains, but you got us home safely.
Well, we landed safely in Las Vegas, but the wives never believed why we were in Las Vegas.
It was for training.
And then you came home with all this glitter on you.
Yeah.
And your wallet was empty.
But
no, I'm just kidding.
I remember John was so calm. And that's part of the success in aviation, I think, is being calm. And I can remember...
Yeah, you have to stay calm.
You do. The first time I ever landed an airplane by myself after being instructed, I was just soaked in sweat.
Lydia and I are sitting here listening to these stories and shaking.
I can't. There are certain professions that you have to be very calm under pressure. That's why I could never be a pilot. I hate flying. Another topic we're going to go to. Do you want to?
Well, so far we talked to Nelson about the airplane and what happened today. We talked to the deputy mayor, Rudy, about you got to get more information on those 20 factories that burned down.
I tell you what, I'll do some research and try to locate the states, the months that it happened. I know 2 of them were right across the border in Canada that supplies a lot of our food. So it's happening in Canada and United States.